Evening, everybody. I'm going to be doing Simplicity S9333. This is a V-neck. It has gathering right in here and some in the back. I think I'm going to do the 3/4 sleeve, which is like V. You do need some tissue paper because you're going to be tracing a few dots onto that so you just can keep your gathering right. And I'm going to be using this material. Now I have a few pieces of it, so behind the scenes you're not going to see me, but I'm going to be cutting out whatever I can use of some of my bigger pieces and some of my little pieces just to kind of use it up. So I don't have anything cut yet. It's just I'm going to go along and see what I can use up on the pieces that I need. And that's about it. A subscriber asked me about marking, or that she marks all her, you know, dots and everything. At first I used to, but then I got into the heat pins, and sometimes those aren't the greatest thing because they take off your markings. But I have tons of them to use up, so that's what I'm doing. I used to use a chalk wheel and the chalk, and what else? There was something else I used. I can't remember. But I really do like the heat pins. It's just that you have to keep going back and putting your marks in if you have, you know, pressed your seam or whatever. But I'm so used to it now, it doesn't bother me. But, you know, use whatever, you know, you like to use. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. It's just, like I said, I got tons of these. I got them, I don't know, for a Christmas gift or something. And, you know, I just got to use them up. And, you know, sewing can get expensive. And when you get something, you know, gifted to you or something, you use it up. But anyways, I'm going to get the first part cut out, and I think that's going to be the front. Okay. 6. Okay. So I have to cut out my front first, and we'll start working on that. Like I said, I'm doing B. I'm going to do it in a 12, and I'm using cotton, and I think that's it. So let me at least get a couple of these pieces cut out, and we can start. So I'll be right back, and while I'm doing that, please like, share, and subscribe while I'm doing this, and I'll be back in a few. Okay, so get your front piece, number 1, and we're going to stay stitch the neck. I'm going to put my safety pin in. Okay, so just stay stitch around your neck area. And then where your small dots are, stitch 1 inch this way and 1 inch that way on both sides. And that's going to reinforce the corner, because we're going to have to cut this corner a little. Okay, now we need to make our gathering stitches between the small dots. But you have to come to this big dot. So you're going to have to gather, and it's kind of coming down, and then just kind of pivot just a little and come back up. So do a gathering stitch. Just make your stitch longer, or if you have the gathering foot, you can use that. Okay. I'll try to show this to you. It's kind of hard, but here's my gathering right here. That's my gathering thread. Then I have from here to here, I have the reinforcing. And then I have my stay stitch all along my neck. Okay. Okay, now you need your number 4 and 3. And we also need to interface these. Okay, so the interfacing I'm using is Pellon 880F. Okay, so on number 4, you need 2 fabric pieces and 1 interfacing. And I switched to a size 10. I'll probably be sorry I did that, but I switched to 10. Okay, so you're going to trace your bottom piece of your neckline. And you have to have your dots here. So trace this. Okay, and 1 dot is there. So what I'm going to do is get a couple pins. I'm going to put that down there and lift it up. So I know that's where my dot is. Okay, then come over here, do the same thing. And then you have your big dot. Okay, now pin this. Put that aside a minute. Okay, now get your front piece. Okay. Take this off. Okay, and you're going to lay this underneath your shirt. And you're going to match up your knot or your dots in your seam line. And this is going to show you where you need to gather. Okay, so you have it like this. Okay, now find your gathering. Gotta find my right gathering. Oh, that's my gathering. Yep. Okay. And gather this. Till it's in that mark. All right. All right, so then you'll have something like this. Oops, sorry. Okay, so your mark is here, your big dot's there, your little dot's there. And just gather this up and make it look right, even. Okay, so there's that part. Then get a few pins. And tack this down. Then what you're going to do with a like stay stitch, basting stitch, you're going to come across here so it keeps your basting or keeps your gathering together. So just kind of pin it wherever that paper is. And you can take out these. Just kind of put them back. Okay. There. All right. So you're going to sew through this tissue paper. So you're just going to come from this dot to this dot at the lowest point and just baste it. Machine baste it. So see, when we put the neckband on, I'll do it this way just to show you. You got your big dot, your little dot, and your other dot. So everything, it'll be turned down, but everything will have that gathering right there. I hope I explained that right. So with a big stitch, just come right across. Let me put this pin this way. Okay, and that will come out. This basting will come out, but that's going to leave it like this. Okay, now come back over to your table or ironing board, wherever you are. And you're going to trim this paper away from this. I had to go and get some tissue paper out of my Christmas stuff. Okay, now you're going to cut down. See the small dots? You're going to cut down, but you don't want to cut, you know, through your stay stitch. Sorry, you're going to cut down to your blue dot. But remember the little reinforcement, the inch here and the inch there? You don't want to cut through them. So, like that. And let's see. This is my reinforcement. So right there. Okay. With number 2, you're going to stay stitch your neckline. And then between the notches, you're going to put like a little gathering stitch. Let me get this back to my normal. Okay, so stay stitch, and then between the notches, do another one with a longer stitch so you can gather it. Okay, then sew your shoulder seams together. And then we're going to be putting on the neckband. Okay, get that done. I'm going to press open my stitches quick. Okay, now we're going to sew the neckline. I used to know how to do one where you sewed both pieces together, but I just can't remember how to do it, so we'll do it their way. Where your blue dots are, that's where you're going to pivot. And you're going to come down to your big dot. And then pivot again to your small dot. And then keep going around. Then you can tear off the tissue paper. Mine's kind of falling apart here. But just do the best you can. And see, when you turn it over, it's gonna look like this. Oh, it'll be a little bit straighter. I got pins in it right now. And then we take our other piece, our other 3 and 4, and we'll sew it around the neck edge. And then we'll turn under the raw edge. And, you know, we'll tack it under here. But just go slow around here on your, on this part. Because you got to get that to to V, that small dot, big dot. So just take your time and get everything nice and flat. I did gather my back a little in between my notches. So this is 5/8. And like I said, just take your time. Look for your dots and hope for the best. Okay, this is what you should have. Let me see if I can do it this way easier. Now we're going to sew up the other pieces. It's not really squared down here. It's kind of like a round bodice kind of looking thing. So right now we just have to trim this neckline to 3/8. Be sure you don't clip your shirt. And then we'll sew the other pieces, and then we'll put these on. It wasn't the easiest. I wouldn't say this was beginner friendly, because this neckline was kind of a pain to do. But if you didn't see it, I had my shirt like this with right sides together, and I pinned them. So, okay, so let's trim this to 3/8. We'll sew up those and put that on. Okay, get your number 3 and 4 again. In between your notches, sew, or your dots, I mean. Back stitch. Back stitch. Okay. So you'll have another piece like this. Put your other neck band on. And sew these 5/8. And then iron open your seams. Okay, once you have that done, start pinning this right sides together. Match your notches, your dots, shoulder seams. Okay, while you're doing that, I'm gonna run and get a cup of coffee, and then I'll get mine done, and we'll sew this up. Okay, I'm ready to stitch up. Remember, start and end at your dots right here. It's 5/8. And then when we get done with that, we need to turn this under. So when it goes under, we can attach it to here. So just take your time. Okay. Okay, once you have that sewn up, go around and turn under like a 1/4 inch. I don't think it says. Oh, 3/8. Oh, trim to 3/8. And then just press under. So I'm just going to press under some. And then see where we are. Shouldn't do it right on the shoulder, but we'll see. That seam's going to be up. Be down there. Okay. Alrighty. So this is what we have so far. Alright, so we have to press this down. And then we're gonna bring it down to here where this seam is. Oops. Okay, where this seam is. I'm gonna bring it down. Be sure this top seam right here is right on the top. And then just keep pressing, go around, get this all stitched right, or pressed right. Press your outer seam. And then we will tack it down, sew it down. And then we have to do the sides. Sew the side seams up, the sleeves, and then hem. So let me get this done. I'll probably just get this done and do the rest in the morning. It's about almost 12:30. But we'll get this part done. Okay, before you do that, it's getting late. They want you to clip like around the corners so it will curve better, and then understitch. So going through your seam, so I guess I'm going to get my pinking shears out, and we're just going to trim this part up. I don't know if I'm going to understitch it. So if you want to underface it, just stitch it like 1/8 all along here. So all the way around. You want the seam and your facing away from the shirt. Okay, I guess I'll understitch it. So probably about 1/8. Just as close to the seam as you can get. You want to catch your facing and your seam. So be sure you put your hand underneath so you can feel that the seam is going this way. And then we'll get this seam done and get this turned under. Okay, everybody. I'm going to finish this up in the morning. I won't do a part 2. It'll just be continuing. My eyes are getting tired. So we'll get this one done. We don't have much left to do on it. So we'll get that done tomorrow. You all have a good night. Please subscribe. The channel's growing. I'm really excited. And share and like, comment. I try to answer everybody's questions or comments. You know, if I can help anybody with any of the patterns, just text me, message me. Now with this shirt, I wouldn't say this was beginner friendly just because of the neckline. If you take your time, you can get it. It's a little kind of a pain. The shirt is nice, but I wouldn't pick it as like a first shirt that I would do. So with that, you all have a good night, and I'll see you in the morning. Good morning, everybody. We're going to continue with the neckline on S9333. I have mine all pinned. I'm actually going to start using some of my stitch wickery and kind of put it down. So let me show you what I have. Okay, so this is what it looks like. And I'm just going to take some of my webbing and I'm going to put it down in different little spots here to hold it down. And then what we do is we sew in this seam in the ditch to catch your facing. So it won't move around. I'm going to be using this stuff. So let me get that done, and we'll get this sewn up, and then we sew up the sides, and then we start the sleeves. Okay, so once I have a piece down, I'm pinning in the front, and I'm putting the pin down in that seam. Let's see if I can move this. So I'll put it down in the seam to be sure that I have enough of my facing. Okay, so let me continue doing this. Okay, a subscriber wanted to see my bird, so let me get this switched over and I can show you him. Okay, that's my African gray. He's got a potty mouth, so hopefully he won't say anything. Bodge. And then I have a sun conure, and he's the loud one. A Skip. And then I have a golden doodle. And then I have an Australian shepherd. She's vision impaired and deaf. And then I have a cat somewhere. I'm not quite sure where he is. But so there's my zoo. Okay, I'm all pinned up. And we're going to sew this in the ditch or close to it. So take your time and just keep looking back to be sure that you're catching your facing on the inside. So start in your back. And then right in that seam, start stitching. Keep your hand under, and you can feel that everything is straight and even. All right, so let's get this done. Okay, once you have that done, you're gonna stitch your side seams. So match your notches and sew this at a 5/8 both sides, and I'll be back. Okay, press your seams open and get your sleeves. I need to cut my sleeves and get a fresh cup of coffee. So while I'm doing that, if you would please subscribe to the channel. The channel's growing, and I think this is really helping out a lot of the beginner sewers, this channel. So if you could just subscribe, like, share, that would just be awesome. I'll be right back. Okay, this has 2 types of sleeves. So if you don't want the elastic in it, you're just going to turn up your hem. Now, if you want the elastic, which this is, I'm doing the elastic, we have to make a casing. So you're going to turn up 3/4 on the lower edge, and you're going to form the casing. And you press under the 1/4 and then your 3/4 and sew along that, and then you cut the elastic. But the first thing we need to do is ease stitch the sleeves between the notches. So let me get that done. And the ease stitching is just make your stitches bigger, because then we're going to ease this in. Once you have that done, get your pattern. I'm just going to mark a couple spots here. Let's see where I put my pin last night. That's white. Okay, so get to your top piece right here in whatever size you're doing. So that's going to be your shoulder, or your center. And then there's a couple over here. Okay. And that's it. So do that on both. And then we'll sew up the sides. And then do the hem or the casing, whichever one you have decided to do. I know on my other shirt I didn't put the elastic in, and I was doing dishes and it always seemed to be getting wet, so I might redo that one and just put some elastic in it. So this is 5/8. Get my easing thread out of there. Match your notches and sew 5/8 on both sleeves. Once you have that done, open up your seams. It's not going to fit through there. Okay. Open up your seams. Okay, so if you don't want the elastic, just turn a quarter and turn a quarter and sew up. If you're doing the elastic, turn your corner up a quarter all the way around. Then get a ruler and come back up 3/4 and leave a little spot to get your elastic in and out. If you're doing the elastic after you turn down your quarter, come back up and measure 3/4 and press and clip these. Do this on both. And then before you sew them, put your sleeves together to be sure that they're even. Okay, so let me get this done on both, and I'll be right back. Okay, measure your sleeves before you sew them. And I'm right on. Now remember, if you're doing the elastic, leave an opening, but not on the seam. Just like an inch or two away from the seam. So I'll just leave this piece open. And then I have some 1/2 inch, and I'm gonna see if that'll work. If not, I'm just gonna use, I usually use 1/4 anyways. But we'll see if this is gonna fit right. It should be okay. Okay, so sew this up close to the edge here, and then we'll put the elastic in. Okay, there is number 6, which is the elastic guide. Grab yourself a safety pin. And you need 2 pieces. Okay, so measure that out and cut it. My big scissors are over there. Okay. And thread this through. So just hook your safety pin on your elastic and find your opening. And bring it through. Don't go out to your other end. What I usually do, I take another safety pin and I pin my elastic. Okay, keep coming through. Okay, come out. Oops, I gotta move that safety pin a little. Got it in the way. And then what I usually do is I will put the sleeve on and see how much I need to take up, if I need to take up any. So I'll just kind of just slip it on. Let me get this one up. And I can take up some. Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm gonna get my other one done and grab a bite to eat. It's lunchtime. And then I'll finish this up when I get back. Also, I have to put my phone on the charger. It's getting low. Okay, I think I'll have it like right there. A little bit tighter. Okay, I will be back in a few. While I'm doing that, please subscribe, like, share, comment, and I will be back in a few. Okay, once you get that done, we have to put our sleeves on, and then we have hemming left, and that's it. So with the right sides together, we're going to put our sleeves on. Match your notches, your seam, and I have a safety pin right here for my top piece. So I'll pin that first. Now remember, we gathered or ease-stitched this. So we're going to have to ease this in a little bit. Just get your 4 points put together. And then we'll see how much we have to ease. And I had a comment from somebody that watched the video about my camera view. I'll try better. Sometimes I get going and I just forget about the camera. It's kind of hard trying to talk and show and be sure that the camera's on spot, but I'll try to be a little bit better about it. Okay, once you have your 4 points, find your ease thread and then just start easing this in. And do one side at a time. Be sure your edges are even. right, go to your next side. My allergies are just running wild this week. Something's blooming in Florida, and my sinuses are just, it's awful. Okay. Okay, so ease them in. And then we're gonna sew this 5/8. Do that with both of them. Okay, so I'm all hemmed up, or hemmed up. So I'll get this one done. I'll get the other one done. And then we have hemming. And then once you try it on and it fits, if you want to go back and trim, you know, like your armhole and, you know, your other seams, you can. I just don't do that till the end because, like those pants, if I have to take some out, at least I have some material to play around with. Okay, let me get this done. Okay, once you have your sleeve on, just put it right side and check to be sure you didn't catch any of your shirt. And then go back in and do your 3/8 under your arm, like notch to notch. Like this. So then notch to notch, go about 3/8. And then you can take out your ease thread. Now we're gonna hem. So turn over like a 1/4 inch. All the way around. And then get a ruler. I think I'm gonna do 3/4 inch. And then press that and clip it and then sew right at this edge. Okay, everybody, here it is. This is nice and flat. Okay, so that was Simplicity S9333. One of the subscribers wanted me to do it up, so this is for you. Like I mentioned before, sometimes my camera angle isn't the best. I'm trying to figure out what to do, and you know, I just sometimes forget about the camera, but I'll work on that, like I mentioned. I switched this to a size 10, and so I think that really helped a lot. My shoulders are really good, and I can move around, and yeah, so I'm happy with it. Now, like I mentioned before, I don't think this is like a beginner's or friendly, because that V-neck and gathering, you really have to pay attention to it, but you can get it. And let me see, and I think that is about it. I have to hem my green pants, which will go with this top also. And like I said, I got to go through my patterns. Like I said, I got a bunch of them, and I'll figure out what to do tomorrow. I did get some new fabric. So, right here, I'm figuring out about doing some really nice tops with the black for, black slacks. Okay, well, I want to thank you for spending your time with me. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. The channel's growing. I'm excited. And, you know, share, like, thumbs up. We got the drawing coming up, the 1,000 subscriber prize, and I think that's about it. So you all have a good night, and I will see you tomorrow.